The sandstorm rose like a curtain torn from the heavens, a boiling veil of dust and flame that turned daylight into dusk. Amid the chaos in the scorched valley of Niger, a girl ran barefoot, bleeding and crowned. She was no ordinary girl. Her ears tapered to fine points, and her amber eyes glowed with a fire born not of rage, but purpose. The crown upon her head was no gilded symbol of luxury. It was wrought from ancient iron and carved with runes long forgotten by mortals. It marked her as the last of the Dawn bloodline Princess Alira of Arvelen, the realm that once bathed in light, now swallowed by shadow. Two monstrous beings flanked her, snarling demons with cracked armor and horned visages, twisted by centuries of hatred. Their claws reached for her, chains wrapped loosely around her arms. She could smell their breath ash, sulfur, and the coppery scent of ancient blood. Behind them, looming like a god of ruin, walked a towering figure clad in jagged obsidian armor, a demon king whose helm bore horns like the gates of the underworld itself. He said nothing. He didn't need to. Alira knew who he was. Malgrith, the horned tyrant. He had come from beyond the veil, leading legions of horned horrors across the lands, turning kingdoms into bone gardens. Her father had fallen before him. Her mother had vanished in the night. Alira had been taken not for ransom, not for war leverage, but for something far worse. A prophecy. Long before the breaking of the sky, when the stars still whispered to seers, it had been foretold, the daughter of light, born in the last breath of dawn, shall wear chains of night and crown of ash. From her blood, the gate shall open. From her heart, the world shall end or begin anew. The demons had waited centuries for her. Malgrith, it was said, could not cross into the true world, not fully until the prophecy was fulfilled. And so they kept her alive, watched her grow in secret, raised her in shadows until the time was right. But Alira was no sacrificial lamb. She had spent years pretending smiling when commanded, obeying when it mattered, but memorizing every corridor of their infernal fortress. Listening to the whispers of imprisoned spirits and fallen gods, they spoke to her, fed her forgotten truths. And when the stars turned black for the first time in 1,000 years, Alira made her move. She escaped through the Wailing Gate, using runes etched in her skin blood magic older than the Demon King himself. The demons chased her, howling through the burning desert, 2 of them catching her as she reached the edge of silence, where even time forgot how to speak. Now she ran, but this was not panic. This was not desperation. This was destiny. As the nearest demon reached for her, its clawed hand grazed her arm too late. She turned sharply, plunging her wrist forward where a shard of obsidian, broken from Malgrith's own armor, had been bound in her makeshift bracelet. The shard struck true, burying itself into the demon's throat. Black ichor spurted, hissing like acid as it hit the ground. The demon staggered, gurgling, and collapsed into dust. The second lunged fangs bared, but Alira whispered a word, one taught to her by a wind spirit trapped beneath the fortress floor. Solvakar. Light flared from her hand, not golden, but white-hot and ancient. It struck the creature in the chest, burning through its armor, flesh, and soul in one radiant pulse. The beast screamed as it evaporated into ash on the wind. Silence fell. The towering figure behind her paused in its march. His voice, when it came, was like mountains grinding together. "You were never meant to run." Alira turned, strands of dark hair whipping across her face. She looked at him, not as prey to predator, not as a daughter of light to a creature of endless dark, but as equal to equal. "I didn't run. I led you here." Malgrith tilted his head, curious. To what end? Alira lifted her hand. The crown on her head began to glow, not with heat, not with magic, but with memory. Around her, the desert shimmered. The sand melted into stone, the ruins of an ancient city rising from beneath. Towers, broken but proud, stretched toward the stormy sky. Statues of winged guardians emerged, eyes aglow. This was Vale Kara, the first city of her bloodline lost to time, hidden beneath 1,000 years of lies. And at its center, a gate began to open, not a gate of iron, but of starlight. Malgrith's eyes flared. You awakened it. Yes, Illyra said, because the prophecy was never about letting you in. It was about sealing you out. The Demon King stepped forward, shadows swirling around his frame. You would deny destiny? Illyra stood her ground. I would rewrite it. From the gate, a wind poured forth, not warm, not cold, but pure. It blew the sand from her wounds, lifted the blood from her skin. Her dress shimmered as it transformed into robes of ancient white and silver thread. The chains fell away, turned to smoke by the power of the city. The crown upon her head changed, its iron form turning into crystal, humming with celestial light. Malgrith roared. He charged. Illyra raised both hands, and the spirits of the old kings, the dawn-blooded ancestors, rose with her. They formed a wall between her and the monster, wielding swords of skyfire and voices of thunder. The Demon King struck the barrier, and for the first time in all his immortal life, he was thrown back. The prophecy had been fulfilled, just not in the way the demons had expected. 1 week later, the sky over Vale Kara was blue again. Illyra stood atop the tallest spire, her crown humming with power. Below her, survivors from shattered kingdoms gathered elves, humans, dwarves, even creatures once sworn to shadow, now free from Malgrith's curse. They called her the Ashlight Queen. She was not just a symbol of survival. She was a reminder that destiny is a road, not a cage, and only those brave enough to run toward it could change the world. The end.